Polynesians are known as some of the greatest navigators in human history. Thousands of years ago, their ancestors set sail across the vast Pacific Ocean, conquering one of the most challenging environments on Earth. But they carried something even more remarkable than their navigation skills: their DNA. A genetic legacy shaped by migration, isolation, and unexpected encounters. What makes Polynesian DNA so unique? Why does it stand apart from other populations in the world? And what hidden secrets does it reveal about one of the greatest human migrations in history? To understand why Polynesian DNA is so distinct, we have to go back nearly 3,000 years. In Southeast Asia, a group of people known as Austronesians developed advanced seafaring technology. With their canoes and celestial navigation skills, they started an incredible journey, one that would take them across thousands of miles of open ocean. They first reached the Philippines, then moved into the islands of Melanesia. But here's where something remarkable happened. Instead of simply continuing eastward, they stayed in Melanesia long enough to mix with local populations, absorbing a new genetic signature before continuing their journey. As these explorers moved further into the Pacific, they encountered one of the biggest challenges in human history: complete isolation. Each new island they settled was hundreds, sometimes thousands, of miles away from the next. Every time a small group of settlers arrived, they carried only a fraction of their original genetic diversity. This phenomenon, known as the founder effect, meant that Polynesians developed a unique genetic profile, different from their ancestors in both Asia and Melanesia. Over time, their DNA became more and more distinct, shaped by survival in some of the most remote environments on Earth. But there's something even more fascinating. When scientists analyzed Polynesian genetics, they found an unusual pattern. While their mitochondrial DNA, the DNA passed down from mothers, was overwhelmingly Asian, their Y chromosomes, inherited from fathers, showed a strong Melanesian influence. What does this mean? It suggests that early Polynesian societies were matrilocal, meaning that women stayed in their home communities while men moved between islands. As a result, Polynesians today carry the genetic legacy of both their Asian ancestors and the Melanesians they encountered along the way. For decades, researchers debated whether Polynesians ever reached the Americas. Some believed it was impossible, that their voyages stopped at Easter Island. But a groundbreaking DNA study revealed something shocking. Polynesians and native South Americans share small but significant genetic markers. The evidence points to contact around 800 years ago, meaning Polynesians may have sailed all the way to South America, picked up local inhabitants, and brought them back across the Pacific. This discovery changes everything. It means that Polynesians didn't just explore the Pacific, they may have bridged two continents with their voyages. Another key to understanding Polynesian ancestry lies in a specific genetic marker called the Polynesian motif. This unique mitochondrial DNA sequence is found in almost all Polynesians today and helps trace their maternal lineage back to Taiwan and the Philippines. But despite this strong Asian link, Polynesians developed their own distinct genetic identity over thousands of years. They are one of the most genetically homogeneous populations in the world, yet their history is anything but simple. Polynesian DNA isn't just a record of the past, it holds clues about the present and even the future. Researchers have discovered that Polynesians have some of the highest rates of type 2 diabetes in the world. Some scientists believe this may be due to a thrifty gene that helped their ancestors store energy efficiently during long voyages. But in today's modern world, with changes in diet and lifestyle, this same genetic trait may now contribute to health issues. The Polynesians' genetic journey is a testament to their resilience, innovation, and adaptability. Their DNA tells the story of one of the greatest migrations in human history, a journey that took them across thousands of miles of open ocean, into complete isolation, and possibly even to the shores of South America. And with new discoveries still emerging, we may only be scratching the surface of what Polynesian genetics can reveal. Polynesian DNA is like a time capsule, holding the genetic footprints of a journey unlike any other. Each island they settled became a living laboratory of evolution, where genetic diversity shrank, adaptations formed, and unique traits emerged. But there's still more to uncover. What made their survival possible in some of the most isolated places on Earth? And how did their DNA shape not only their past but their future? One of the most striking genetic phenomena in Polynesians is their extremely low genetic diversity. Imagine this: every time a small group of people left one island to settle another, They carried only a fraction of the genetic material from their ancestors. Over generations, as populations remained isolated, their gene pool became more and more limited. This process, called genetic drift, explains why Polynesians share such a high degree of similarity. In fact, scientists have found that Polynesians today are among the least genetically diverse populations in the world. But despite this, they thrived. Their ability to adapt, to master their environment, and to develop sustainable ways of living on remote islands ensured their survival. One of the biggest mysteries surrounding Polynesian genetics is their connection to Melanesians. For decades, researchers believed that Polynesians descended primarily from Austronesians, the seafaring people who originated in Taiwan and moved southward. But when geneticists examined Polynesian Y chromosomes, they found something unexpected. Over 65% of Polynesian paternal DNA comes from Melanesians. This raises an intriguing question. How did this mixing happen? The answer may lie in the cultural structure of early Polynesian societies. Many anthropologists believe that Polynesians followed a matrilocal system, where men moved between islands while women stayed in their home communities. This would explain why Polynesian mitochondrial DNA, the genetic material passed down from mothers, remains overwhelmingly Asian, while their Y chromosomes, inherited from fathers, show strong Melanesian influence. But perhaps the most astonishing revelation in recent years is the potential connection between Polynesians and South Americans. Theories about contact between these two civilizations have existed for centuries. Some pointed to the presence of sweet potatoes, a crop native to South America, in Polynesia as evidence of ancient interaction. Others speculated that the massive stone heads of Easter Island resembled statues found in the Andes. But it wasn't until scientists analyzed Polynesian and Native American DNA that they found irrefutable proof, small but significant genetic markers indicating interbreeding around 800 years ago. This means that Polynesians either reached South America, mingled with the local population, and brought them back across the Pacific, or, even more remarkably, that South Americans made their way into the Pacific on their own. Either way, the discovery challenges everything we thought we knew about ancient transoceanic travel. Another critical aspect of Polynesian genetics is the so-called Polynesian motif, a unique mitochondrial DNA sequence found in nearly all Polynesians. This genetic marker is a direct link to their Austronesian ancestors and provides insight into their migratory path. But even though their maternal lineage traces back to Southeast Asia, Polynesians evolved into a distinct genetic group, separated from their origins by thousands of miles and centuries of isolation. Polynesians aren't just genetically unique, they are also biologically adapted to their environment. One example is their remarkable endurance and athletic ability, which some researchers believe may be linked to their ancestors' history of long-distance voyaging. Their bodies were built for survival, storing energy efficiently for times of scarcity. However, this same adaptation may have unintended consequences today. Polynesians have some of the highest rates of type 2 diabetes and obesity in the world, a problem that scientists suspect is linked to the thrifty gene hypothesis. This theory suggests that Polynesians developed a genetic predisposition to store fat and energy in order to survive long voyages and food shortages. But in today's world, with access to modern diets and lifestyles, this once beneficial adaptation may now contribute to serious health issues. Despite their genetic uniqueness, Polynesians have maintained strong cultural traditions that connect them to their ancestors. Their stories, navigation techniques, and even their physical endurance are echoes of the people who set sail across the Pacific thousands of years ago. And with each new genetic discovery, we're learning more about their incredible journey, one that reshaped the world and defied the limits of human exploration. Polynesian DNA isn't just about the past. It holds the key to understanding how humans adapt, evolve, and survive against all odds. And with science continuing to unlock its secrets, one thing is clear. The story of the Polynesians is far from over. The Polynesian genetic journey is not just a story of survival. It's a testament to human ingenuity and exploration. Their DNA carries the legacy of their ancestors, who defied the limits of their time, sailing into the unknown and shaping civilizations on islands separated by thousands of miles. But their genetic uniqueness also raises new questions. How did they sustain their populations despite their low genetic diversity? What does their DNA reveal about their adaptability? And could it provide insights into modern health challenges faced by Polynesian communities today? One of the most fascinating aspects of Polynesian genetics is how their ancestors managed to thrive despite the effects of the founder effect and genetic drift. Typically, populations with low genetic diversity are more vulnerable to disease and environmental changes. However, Polynesians developed strategies to counteract this risk. Their societies placed a strong emphasis on community cooperation and resource management, ensuring that even in times of hardship, survival was possible. Their ability to build complex social structures and pass down knowledge of agriculture, fishing, and navigation played a critical role in maintaining healthy populations across their vast oceanic territory. Even with their genetic isolation, Polynesians remained physically and culturally resilient. Studies have shown that many Polynesians share genetic markers linked to muscular endurance and strength, traits that may have been essential for their survival. These adaptations may have played a role in their ability to handle extreme physical exertion, whether paddling for weeks at sea, farming volcanic soils, or constructing massive stone monuments like the Moai of Easter Island. Interestingly, modern research suggests that Polynesians have a genetic advantage in muscle development, which could explain their strong presence in sports like rugby and weightlifting today. But while their genes help them endure the harsh conditions of island life, they also present challenges in the modern world. Polynesians have some of the highest rates of obesity, diabetes, and cardiovascular diseases, far higher than many other populations. Scientists believe this is due to an evolutionary adaptation that once helped them survive but now works against them. The thrifty gene hypothesis suggests that Polynesians evolved to store fat efficiently, an advantage during long ocean voyages where food was scarce. This genetic trait allowed their ancestors to survive unpredictable food shortages. However, in today's world, where processed foods and modern diets have replaced traditional island diets, this adaptation has led to widespread metabolic disorders. The unique Polynesian genetic blueprint may hold valuable information for medical research. Scientists are now studying Polynesian DNA to understand how genetics influence metabolism, muscle growth, and disease resistance. These studies could lead to breakthroughs in understanding obesity-related illnesses, helping not only Polynesian communities but also populations around the world that struggle with similar health issues. Another exciting area of research is how Polynesian genetics might help scientists understand human migration and adaptation. Their genetic markers serve as a living record of how humans adapted to extreme isolation and how small populations can survive and thrive in new environments. This research doesn't just apply to history. It could have implications for the future of humanity, especially as scientists explore the possibilities of long-term space travel and colonization of other planets. Polynesian DNA also plays a crucial role in unraveling mysteries of ancient transoceanic contact. While the discovery of South American DNA in Polynesians was groundbreaking, it also raises further questions. Were Polynesians the only ones who traveled to the Americas, or did native South Americans also set sail into the Pacific? Could there be more undiscovered genetic links between these ancient seafaring civilizations? As scientists continue to decode the Polynesian genome, they are piecing together one of the greatest human migration stories ever told. Every new discovery adds another layer to our understanding of how Polynesians shaped, and were shaped by, their incredible journey across the Pacific. Their DNA tells us that they were not just explorers, they were pioneers, innovators, and survivors who left an indelible mark on the history of humankind. Even today, Polynesian communities take pride in their ancestral strength. The revival of traditional wayfinding, navigating by the stars, winds, and ocean currents, has become a powerful symbol of cultural resilience. Polynesians are once again sailing the Pacific using ancient techniques, proving that the spirit of exploration encoded in their DNA is very much alive. The story of Polynesian DNA is far from over. With advancing technology, researchers are uncovering more secrets hidden in their genes, secrets that could reshape our understanding of human evolution, genetics, and the limits of exploration. What other mysteries lie waiting in the genetic code of the world's greatest voyages? Only time and science will tell. As we delve deeper into the mysteries of Polynesian DNA, we find that it doesn't just tell the story of the past, it also connects to the cultural and spiritual life of Polynesian people today. For them, genealogy isn't just a scientific concept, it's a foundational part of their identity, linked to their ancestors, traditions, and the sacred lands and waters they inhabit. Their DNA carries not only the marks of ancient migrations but also a profound spiritual connection that continues to shape their communities. One of the most remarkable cultural practices that intertwines with genetic legacy is whakapapa, a Maori term that refers to genealogy and ancestral connections. In many Polynesian cultures, reciting whakapapa is a way of honoring one's ancestors, tracing lineage back through generations to the original voyagers who crossed the Pacific. This oral tradition serves as a living testament to their historical journey and mirrors the genetic heritage carried within their DNA. The knowledge of who they are and where they come from isn't just written in their genes. It's passed down through stories, chants, and songs that have survived for centuries. The spiritual significance of genealogy is also seen in the way Polynesians relate to their environment. In their worldview, everything is interconnected: people, land, sea, and sky. This interconnectedness is reflected in the way they navigate their world, both physically and spiritually. Ancient Polynesian navigators used the stars, ocean currents, and even the behavior of birds to find their way across the vast Pacific. These skills, passed down through generations, are echoed in their genetic adaptability, which enabled them to thrive on isolated islands. Today, the revival of traditional navigation, or wayfinding, is seen as a reclaiming of cultural heritage, a way of honoring their ancestors' extraordinary voyages, and a reaffirmation of their place in the world. But Polynesian DNA does more than connect them to the past. It also influences their future. In health, education, and cultural preservation, understanding their genetic makeup helps Polynesians address contemporary challenges. For instance, the high prevalence of type 2 diabetes and cardiovascular disease among Polynesian populations has spurred community-led health initiatives. By combining genetic research with traditional knowledge, these programs aim to promote healthier lifestyles and preserve indigenous wisdom. Efforts like the Pacifica Medical Association work to empower Polynesian communities with culturally appropriate healthcare, recognizing that solutions must come from within the community to be effective. On the scientific front, Polynesian DNA continues to be a valuable resource for geneticists and anthropologists alike. New technologies, such as CRISPR and genome sequencing, are unlocking deeper insights into the genetic adaptations that allowed Polynesians to survive and thrive in the Pacific. Researchers are studying how specific genetic markers relate to traits like endurance, resistance to certain diseases, and even psychological resilience. This knowledge doesn't just add to the scientific community. It empowers Polynesians to take control of their genetic legacy, using it to strengthen their communities and cultural practices. There is also a growing movement within Polynesian communities to protect their genetic data and ensure it is used ethically. The history of scientific research in indigenous populations has not always been respectful, and there is a concerted effort to ensure that Polynesian DNA is not exploited. Cultural advocacy groups work to educate their communities about genetic research and emphasize the importance of consent and control over their genetic information. This movement is about more than just protecting genetic data. It's about reclaiming ownership over their own narratives and ensuring that their story is told with dignity and respect. As we look to the future, the lessons of Polynesian genetics may offer valuable insights for humanity as a whole. In a world facing climate change, resource scarcity, and health crises, the Polynesian legacy of adaptation and resilience offers a model for sustainable living. Their ability to create thriving societies in isolated environments can inspire new approaches to community building, resource management, and cultural preservation in the modern age. The unique genetic heritage of Polynesians is a story of survival, adaptation, and unyielding spirit. It is a reminder that even in the most remote corners of the world, human innovation and resilience can flourish. The secrets of Polynesian DNA continue to unfold, shedding light on not only their incredible past but also the enduring strength that defines them today. Whether through scientific discovery, cultural revival, or community empowerment, the legacy of the Polynesians is one that continues to inspire and captivate the world. As we explore their genetic journey, we realize that the Polynesian story is part of a larger narrative, the story of humankind's capacity to explore, adapt, and connect across vast distances. Their DNA, shaped by the ocean's vastness and the isolation of their islands, tells a tale of bravery, unity, and the relentless quest for discovery. And as we continue to study their unique genetic code, we are reminded that every journey leaves a mark, not just on the world, but in the very essence of who we are. The story of Polynesian DNA is far from over. With every new discovery, we unlock deeper insights into not only where they came from but also how their genetic legacy continues to shape their world today. From the vast ocean migrations of their ancestors to the modern-day Polynesian communities reclaiming their identity, their DNA carries the imprint of one of the most extraordinary human journeys ever undertaken. But what does the future hold for Polynesian genetics? Could their DNA provide answers to some of the biggest mysteries in human history? One of the most exciting areas of research is how Polynesian genetics might help us understand human adaptation to extreme environments. Unlike many other ancient civilizations, Polynesians didn't just settle one region, they mastered an entire ocean. Their ability to survive on isolated islands with limited resources suggests unique genetic adaptations that allowed them to endure harsh conditions. Scientists are investigating whether Polynesians developed specific genetic traits related to metabolism, endurance, and resistance to certain diseases, which could have broader implications for human health. If we can understand how their ancestors thrived in extreme environments, it may help researchers develop better treatments for metabolic disorders and even provide clues about how humans might adapt to life in space or other extreme habitats. Beyond health, Polynesian DNA is also helping scientists reconstruct lost chapters of human history. We now know that Polynesians made contact with South Americans nearly 800 years ago, but the full extent of their interactions remains unknown. Could there be even earlier genetic links waiting to be discovered? Did Polynesians influence other indigenous cultures beyond what we currently understand? Advances in ancient DNA sequencing may soon provide more definitive answers, revealing connections between distant populations that were once thought to be impossible. At the same time, Polynesians themselves are taking an active role in shaping the future of genetic research. In the past, many indigenous groups had little control over how their DNA was studied or used. Today, Polynesian communities are working alongside scientists to ensure that their genetic heritage is respected and protected. Programs focused on genetic sovereignty aim to give Polynesians ownership over their own genetic data, ensuring that research benefits their communities rather than exploiting them. This shift is not just about science. It's about reclaiming identity and ensuring that the Polynesian story is told with accuracy, dignity, and respect. But perhaps the most inspiring part of this journey is how Polynesians are using their genetic and cultural heritage to revive their ancient traditions. Thousands of years after their ancestors first navigated the Pacific, a new generation of Polynesians is taking to the seas once again, using the very same techniques their forebears perfected. Voyaging societies across the Pacific are relearning traditional navigation, sailing vast distances without modern technology, guided only by the stars, ocean currents, and wind patterns. These voyages are not just symbolic, they are a powerful reminder that Polynesian knowledge, just like their DNA, is an enduring force that continues to shape the world. The legacy of Polynesian DNA is not just about the past, it is alive today, in the strength of their communities, in the resilience of their people, and in the new discoveries that continue to redefine our understanding of human history. Their story is one of courage, survival, and exploration, and it stands as a testament to what humanity is capable of. The next time you look at a vast ocean, imagine the Polynesians who set sail thousands of years ago, carrying nothing but their knowledge, their traditions, and their DNA, the very blueprint of their ancestors. Their journey didn't just change their own destiny, it reshaped the map of human civilization itself. And as new research continues to uncover more about their remarkable past, one thing remains clear. The Polynesians are, and always have been, among the greatest explorers the world has ever known. The story of Polynesian DNA is more than just a tale of migration and survival. It is a living testament to human resilience, ingenuity, and the unbreakable bond between past and present. The genetic footprint of these legendary voyages, shaped by centuries of movement across the Pacific, continues to influence their descendants in profound ways. Every cell in their body carries the memory of those who came before them, their ancestors who braved the unknown, who charted paths across endless oceans, and who built thriving civilizations on islands that once seemed unreachable. But their journey doesn't end here. With each new genetic discovery, we come closer to understanding the full story of Polynesian origins, their connections to other ancient peoples, and the hidden adaptations that allowed them to thrive where few could survive. Science is now revealing that Polynesian genetics hold valuable clues, not only about human migration but also about metabolism, endurance, and even future space exploration. Their unique adaptations may one day help researchers develop solutions to modern health challenges, from obesity to energy efficiency in extreme environments. At the same time, Polynesians are reclaiming their genetic and cultural heritage. No longer just subjects of research, they are leading the conversation about their DNA, ensuring that their story is told with respect, accuracy, and pride. The revival of traditional navigation, the resurgence of ancestral knowledge, and the protection of genetic sovereignty are all part of a movement to honor their past while shaping their future. And so, as the world looks ahead, one thing is certain: the spirit of Polynesian exploration is far from over. Just as their ancestors once sailed beyond the horizon, seeking new lands and opportunities, the next generations are forging their own path, both in science and in cultural revival. Their DNA, just like their heritage, remains a beacon of resilience, adaptability, and discovery. The Polynesian journey is a reminder that no challenge is too great, no distance too vast, and no mystery too deep. The same fearless spirit that once conquered the Pacific now stands at the frontier of genetics, history, and the future of exploration itself. And as new questions emerge, one thing remains unchanged: Polynesians were, are, and always will be among the greatest explorers the world has ever known. So, the next time you hear the waves crash against the shore or look up at the stars in the night sky, remember, these were the same waves and the same stars that guided the Polynesians across the Pacific. Their journey was written in the ocean, in the wind, and now, in their DNA. And that journey, just like the ocean itself, will never truly end.